Dude, is it porn?
Are we talking about the same thing? This is like dream come true, man, because it was beautiful. I enjoyed it.
Welcome to the very first episode of That Geek Punk Show. And joining us is none other than Matt, with your permission. I would like to do this. Presenting from Sin City, Vegas, the hottest guy on the mic, Matt, MMA HOT MIC Parrino. Welcome, Matt. Welcome. Now, it was definitely not as good as you, but it was worth a shot.
It was beautiful. I enjoyed it. It never happens to me. It's actually really nice.
I wanted to do that so badly, man. I wanted to do that so badly.
Yeah, we'll get one. We're gonna get one in on this show for sure. So first of all, how's everything going over there? We're in a crazy time in the world right now.
Man, it's going great. It's going great. This is my dream project. I'm starting this finally, and having you as the first guest is like everything, man. This is the best start we can have for it.
That's great, dude. I'm happy to be the first guest up here. I'm also going to be starting a podcast shortly myself. So I'm right there with you, man. So I'll be having my first episode soon. So
we're gonna show some. Gonna show some all the support we can. We're gonna show all the support we can, guys, to Matt Parrino.
Love it. Hey, shout out to everyone up in India right now. This is so cool to be talking to everyone. I love how the internet brings the whole world together, and it's just so cool. It's literally like almost 1:00 here in Las Vegas.
It is like,
and it's like
2 p.m. here
over there.
Yeah, 2 p.m. afternoon.
2 p.m.?
It's afternoon.
So weird. Shout out to Howler Head Whiskey.
Howler whiskey. Matt prefer Howler over proper 12. Matt prefer Howler over proper 12.
Nothing wrong with the old proper 12, but yeah, shout out to Uncle Dana and the Howler Head. They've been really, really, really good to me. It's really, really crazy. That's how I ended up meeting Dana White and stuff like that, was because of Howler Head Whiskey and going to the Howler Head meet and greets when they do that during fight week.
Yeah.
And they'll have like UFC fighters come out, and I would do the intros, and everyone just loved it, and everyone was really cool. And next thing you know, I ended up meeting Dana that weekend. So,
but because of internet, awesome. We got the fame because of internet, man. Like Jorge Masvidal, Davison Figueiredo, Gilbert Burns. Everyone knows you right now.
Yeah, it's really weird. Really weird. For a long time, I was wondering if Dana and everyone saw the video. And, all my friends are like, bro, everyone has seen this video. And I'm like, no. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Dana hadn't seen the video. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when the Masvidal video went off, that's when, like, everyone was tagging Dana.
I remember watching the Masvidal video, and it took me 2 months to find you, man. To exactly follow you.
Yeah, so the weird part about the internet is, so the story with that was, WWE is big in India.
Yeah, it is. It is really big. It is really big.
So WWE was having a contest, and this is after I met Masvidal.
Okay, that TikTok contest for ring announcer.
Yeah, for the ring announcer contest.
Yeah.
So I posted a bunch of videos, and I actually recorded all day. My throat was messed up because I kept recording so many different times, and everyone kept posting stuff non-WWE related. They kept posting stuff of just them being an announcer. I was like, I'm gonna post the Masvidal video. I was like, screw it, I have nothing to lose. It was against the rules because I had to do one of the wrestlers, but when I did Masvidal, it blew up. And I remember I went down the street to get something to eat, and by the time I got back, it was at I think 100,000, and I was like, oh, something's going on. And then, like I said, so this is after, obviously, I met Masvidal, within a couple days. The next day, his manager texts me. He's like, oh, my God, bro. He's like, congratulations. He's like, you deserve everything. Like,
In the
you deserve
video
all the
we can
recognition.
see Masvidal telling his manager, contact him.
Yeah,
We can
and
see
everyone
them.
was like, Everyone's like, did he really hire you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of it's a shoot, but I don't know, man. And then yeah, so that's when he hit me up, and he was like, yeah, it's a real thing. Like, just so you know, like, it's really happening. And I was like, oh my god, this is like dream come true, man. Because it's really hard to get a break in life for your dream. And that was mine. And it's just so weird that, like, luckily my friend told me about that autograph signing, because if she didn't, then I never would have, all this wouldn't have happened. So
It is all about life, man.
shout out to Katie.
It is all, shout out to Katie, man. Thanks for Katie. We can finally have MMA Hot Mic on our show.
Yes. Katie's on my friends list.
You mentioned internet.
Or something like that. I gotta check it out. But yeah.
You mentioned internet.
So yeah.
There is a rumor on internet that Bruce Buffer had a literally ill confrontation with you. Is that true?
Good question. Let me put this candle somewhere. It's making my face red. Yes. It is true, but it wasn't like everyone thinks. So when everything went crazy, long story short, he was really worried about
His catchphrase.
Stealing his
Catchphrase.
gimmick and catchphrase. And the first thing I was like, well, first of all, I'm never going to say his catchphrase. It's trademarked, and that's his stamp. And I'm not going to be a spit and image copy. This is me as a fan, meeting fighters, and this is something that I've been doing since 2008. So this has been happening for like 14 years. And it was never something that I was like, oh, I'm just going to be Bruce Buffer. It had nothing to do with that. It was like the fighters always love it. It feels good when someone announces you and they get the blood flowing and it feels like they're in the fight. So yeah, so when that happened, I was like, man, Bruce is a legend. I'm like, Bruce should not be worried about me, and he shouldn't be worried about me stealing his catchphrases. And that was about it. And then so there was an issue, if you will, but it was resolved. And then he went on Ariel Helwani's podcast, and he was basically like, yeah, as long as he doesn't say my catchphrase, but he's very confrontational. And he was basically like, look, if you want to go against me on announcing, I'm going to crush you. So that's Bruce, and I love it. And, he deserves to be how he is, because, he's like the champ when it comes to announcing. He's the man.
Yeah, he has earned it.
He's the GOAT. But yeah, kind of true.
Like, was Bruce Buffer an inspiration for you, like in the starting days?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Dang, I wish I was more prepared. Yes, I actually met Bruce 3 times. I met him in 2009, 2010, and I believe 2011 or 2012. But it was basically like 3 years in a row, give or take. And yeah, I was always a fan of Bruce, and that's kind of how it started. And every time the pay-per-view would be on, everyone would turn the TV down. They're like, do the thing. So, like, everyone was, like, really cool with it. So, yeah, big inspiration. And, look, I obviously you're a fan of MMA. I'm a fan of MMA. That's what brings me and all the people that have really positive.
We are a community.
That's what brings us all together.
We are a big MMA fan community.
Yeah, man, we're all just fans. We all love each other, man. Everyone loves the game, and that's where it came from. And I just happen to be good at it, and that's it. And look, you never know, right? But I never thought I would be in this position. It's very strange to me, because I'm just such a regular dude. Like, I didn't think of all people I would be the one to be anywhere in this position of being in the conversation with him. It's very strange to me. It's like, You know what I'm saying?
What I believe
So
is it is actually really good, man. If Bruce Buffer thinks you're taking his catchphrase or you're taking his gimmick, that makes you big, man.
yeah,
That makes you big. That makes you worthy of a competition.
yeah, yeah, true. I met somebody that knows Bruce down the line, and he was like, "Look, he's like between me and you, he was like, if Bruce Buffer knows who you are and your name is in his mouth, he was like, you won. He was like, if nothing happens, he was like, man, you won. He's like, man, you did great because like he knows you now, and that's when it became real. I was like, oh wow, like everyone really does know me. You know, it was denial for months because I don't know, I'm just like a humble guy. I'm just normal, man. Like so, yeah, very denial for a long time.
So this reminds me of an incident with Matt. So this was the first time I was pitching him an idea about my podcast come talk show. So I tell him that would you like to be the first guest in my show? He said, "Dude, is it porn? Dude, is it porn? What you talking about? Come, is it porn?" And that came out of nowhere. That legit came out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and it was really really hilarious. So
You said cum show, didn't you?
I said talk show come podcast.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, I just saw cum
And you saw
podcast, like cum show. I don't remember exactly, but I was like, are we talking about the same thing? I was like, I don't think we're talking about the same thing, man.
when he came in, are we
yeah,
talking about porn? Do you want me to be on a porn? I'm like, no, dude, what
Well,
you
hey,
talking
man, I
about?
don't know. International stuff's huge. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
That was
that's
really hilarious,
crazy.
man. That was
This is the Dana White cardboard cutout that I ended up making that video with
yeah.
and stuff. That was another reason why I got to meet Dana as well. Actually,
Shout out to Dana.
yeah, shout out to Dana White. What's up, brother? He's such a nice guy. He hooked it up, and man, he's such a real dude. Money never changed that guy. Like he's so nice. There's a lot of Dana White haters,
Jake Paul is one of
but
them.
but he's got his own reason to hate him. And you know what? Deep down, I think Jake Paul loves Dana White. I think he loves Dana White. I think he wants to be Dana White. He was at a boxing event, or there was like what do they call those, like dang, where like they interview each other, like almost like a media day
Press conference.
for this.
Press conference.
Yeah, press conference for some boxing event, and he was there in the gray suit. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm the next big promoter," and I was like, "This guy just wants to be Dana White so bad." Like
He even invested. What I've heard, he even invested in a company that funds, like that sponsors, UFC. He invested in some company.
He invested in Endeavor.
Yeah.
Endeavor.
Yeah.
I think I might be saying it wrong. Endeavor, something like that, which I actually have as well. It's just a stock that is the public trade stock for the UFC.
Okay.
So he didn't really like purchase the UFC. He didn't purchase a percentage. Anyone could invest in this. You know, I have a few $100 in it, you know, and that's it. So who knows how much he put into it, but it means nothing. It just means if the UFC gets really big, he's going to get rich.
I'm not a big Jake Paul fan.
It's doing pretty well, by the way.
What's that? What?
What'd you say?
I'm saying I'm not a big Jake Paul fan, but one thing I agree with Jake Paul is fighter medical care. Fighters should have that medical care.
Yeah, the fight. Yeah, you know, dude, and the business is being ran in a way like obviously like you know we're not in the fight game and we obviously don't really know like the ins and outs and everything like that. I'm sure there's a reason why there's not, but I've also heard many stories of people being absolutely hooked up medically by the UFC. But there's so many people. I mean, and I'm not sticking up and I'm not picking a side here, you know, but there's so many people in and out of the UFC that just because if you got into the UFC and if you were able to have this health, you know what I'm saying, like a health union or something, or a fighter union, I mean, it's just, there would be so many people in the pool that aren't even, really relevant to the company that doesn't make the company any money. So that's I think that's what the issue is. But they do take care of, I do know they take care of all surgeries. Like if the fighter gets hurt in the fight, they definitely take care of that. I think outside the cage, they don't. Like if you were in training camp and blew your ACL, I'm not sure if they cover that. This is all speculation. But at the end of the day, I think your main point was long-term health, longevity, like brain concussions and brain health and things like that. And I think eventually one day there'll be something like that. The sport is so young, I mean, when it comes to MMA, the sport's so young. And realistically, we haven't seen enough study on long-term health issues. We have boxing. Like, you can look at boxing, and there's so many people that have, like brain damage and concussions and things like this, and are really messed up longevity-wise. So, yeah, one day, hopefully there will be, for those specific reasons.
Boxing actually have more money. Boxing actually have more money. Conventional boxing has been there for a really long time compared to MMA.
Yeah.
So it has more money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that boxing has so much money too. Very strange. Like it's like I think it's just because it was so big at so many points in time in life, and it just drawed crazy money. Man, I'm drawing blanks on a lot of name droppers. Obviously, Muhammad Ali days, though. There was so many megastars in boxing, and I think that just carried on traditionally. But where the money's coming from is insane. Like, where Floyd Mayweather gets $300 million from is beyond me. Like, that's insane money right
Logan Paul is still not getting paid of the fight. He's still blabbing shit.
I know that you have to wait for the pay-per-view. Like, obviously he's suing him, Logan. So there's obviously like something going on there. But I know you have to wait for the numbers to drop and everything like that. Like Michael Bisping talks about that. He's still getting checks to this day from his fight with GSP. Now, obviously they're not a lot of money, but how long ago was that fight? And they're still paying him money. So I don't know if Jake Paul is looking for his lump sum up front. I honestly don't know what the situation is, but it is funny. And yeah, Conor McGregor made fun of Floyd Mayweather like all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys, like, he needs to fight for another check. He's Money Mayweather, but he never has any money. He runs out of money.
With Conor McGregor, do you think Conor McGregor deserves the shot at lightweight championship? Like,
honestly, right off the bat, no. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad Justin Gaethje's getting the title shot. I actually met Justin not too long ago, and really happy Justin's getting the shot. But damn, the thing with Conor is, and I say this to all my friends, when he draws that much money and he's the money fight. Look at Charles Oliveira though, and Charles is like, oh, if Conor comes back, I'll fight him. Yeah,
everybody want to fight Conor. They want to fight Masvidal. They want to fight Nate.
And that's because all three of them are insane draws, and if you fight any of those three guys, you get paid.
Before Izzy came, they were the biggest 3 draws ever.
Yeah, I probably would say they're still the biggest 3, to be honest. Is Izzy, surpassed one of them?
I think Izzy did that recently. I think he...
Yeah, I know.
Because Nate hasn't been fighting for really long. The last fight was Leon Edwards one.
I know Izzy... is getting paid a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
Everyone heard about that new contract. He's getting paid pretty good. No one knows how much. I think it's in the millions though, which he's probably one of 4 fighters to probably ever get paid that amount of money in MMA or for UFC, that is.
Ngannou is not getting that much comparatively to Izzy and Usman. Ngannou is not getting that much paid. And
who?
Francis Ngannou.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. Francis is really good too, and he's scary. And there's so many contract issues. I don't know. It's the whole fighter pay thing is so weird.
Talk about scary. BKFC founder wants Francis Ngannou to fight in bare knuckle fighting championship Imagine a guy like Francis Ngannou without gloves. That is scary.
It's crazy. Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. It's scary as hell. The crazy thing about Ngannou is, and all those bare knuckle guys, when they fight, they say, like, your hands hurt. It hurts to crack skull with bare hands. And, man, realistically, he hits so hard, God, he might break his hand, like, first punch. I mean, speculation. Speculation, of course. But it'd be crazy. What about him and Tyson Fury?
Man, like, Tyson wants him to box, man, because the only way they will get the money out of it if they will box. They won't get that money in an MMA octagon or ring.
Well, maybe because Tyson is so willing. He said he would be willing to put on 4-ounce gloves and come inside the octagon if they could set up a special rules match.
Boxing rules, man.
That would negotiate in the money from wherever that boxing was coming from.
And that would draw a lot of audience. That would draw a lot of audience.
It would be ridiculous. And you have all the people from boxing and you have all the people from MMA into one show. And the last time that happened was Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. And that fight was absolutely ridiculous.
It might be bigger than Francis Ngannou. Khabib and Conor, and it might be bigger than Khabib and Mayweather. It can be bigger than that.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure, because they're heavyweights. Man, these guys are huge. Savages.
Man, I don't know what Gypsy King do. That guy's ridiculous, man. That guy's ridiculous.
He is the best.
He's the best. Yeah. Man, he got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Like, knocked down how many times? Like 3 or 4 times? Or like in all the fights? And he gets back up. And he shook it off and then punched him like back.
That boxing match was one of the craziest matches. I'm so happy I watched it with a whole bunch of people. It was just, the room was like, and I have to rewatch it, but I remember Deontay Wilder being done like really early in the fight, like second or third round or something, and I was like, oh, he's really tired. And then in the 4th round, he almost knocked him out. And then all of a sudden he comes back and just drops him. And I bet it was so funny for Tyson Fury to go back and watch that fight, because he probably was cringing like, oh my God, all I had to do was give a little space and throw the jab. And everything else just would have followed, but he kept right in the phone booth.
Deontay Wilder was doing really good comparatively to his previous fights. He was technically boxing Gypsy King.
Yes.
He was technically out there. He was not just looking for his right arm to hit Gypsy King. He was in there. He was exchanging punches. He was exchanging jabs with him.
He switched the game plan.
Yeah.
Big. And he knew he had to, because he lost the last one.
Gypsy King is like...
It was ugly. Like, that second one. Ooh.
Gypsy King is like an Undertaker, man. He's like the Undertaker of boxing. He just gets back up every time. Bam.
I love it. I love it.
So, man, I just want to ask you one thing. Who are you rooting for? Masvidal or Colby Covington?
Come on. Everyone asks this question like they're going to get something different. Everyone knows the knee to the head. Bang. Colby Covington goes to sleep. I'll give you an example.
Man,
I'm thinking a lot. Go ahead.
I was saying that Colby is the guy that went on 5 rounds with Usman. Like, he's probably the toughest competition Usman had till now. And Masvidal got knocked out in the 2nd round. What do you think? And they're former teammates.
The only thing I really say to that is, obviously, I don't fight. Even though I got a nice little nick on the nose there. But I can compare this, and this is probably a horrible comparison. I'm probably going to get chewed for this one, but I'm going to say it anyway. When I fight on the UFC video game, right, and this is just a primary example, when a guy is focusing on just taking you down, like over and over and over, it messes with your head on the stand-up. And you can't just be as loose and as comfortable as you are. And I think what happened was Masvidal was expecting a lot of level changes and a lot of shooting. And unfortunately, instead of that, Usman blitzed and did a lot of straight shots. And just confused him and got him. And I remember right before the end of that fight, Masvidal smiling at Usman like a lot. And I don't know if that's because he was surprised that he wasn't shooting or what. But yeah, and he even says it, man. Credit to Usman, man. Like, it is what it is. God bless. But at the same time, my boy also went with him for 5 rounds in
the first fight
on 6 days' notice and cut a whole lot of weight. So,
Usman has worked a lot on his striking, man. If you see in the Gilbert one's fight, in the Masvidal fight, in the Covington fight, both of the fight, he has worked a lot on his striking. Not only the power, but the techniques also, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and honestly, when it comes to Colby, a lot of people keep telling me, like, man, how good has Colby striking got, right? Man, he went, 5 rounds with Usman twice, blah, 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 10 rounds with Usman, oh my God, and he banged with him, blah, blah, blah. Jorge is a different fighter. He is a different striker. That man is grueling. If they went 10 rounds, him and Usman went 10 rounds just boxing, no takedowns, and no one's factoring that in. No one's factoring the point that, except the second fight, but that first fight with Usman and Colby, no one shot in for a takedown. There was no level changes. It was a kickboxing match. And if Usman would have done that with Gamebred, it would have been a bad night for Usman. And he played his cards right, and it is what it is. But as far as this matchup goes, which is coming up, man, really soon, right? Like next weekend? Yeah. Man, it's coming so fast.
March 6th something, I think. March 6th maybe.
Yeah, next Saturday. This Saturday, my boy Terrence McKinney's fighting this Saturday.
Shout out to
my boy on that. If you bet the under and bet on that, man. But yeah, since when it comes to this fight, a lot of people that know the ins and outs and a lot of people that know the inside of what's going on, they're talking a lot about body shots. They're talking a lot about Colby's weaknesses. And not a lot of people know Colby's weaknesses because he really hasn't lost that much. And,
Masvidal knows him in and out.
We're going to see.
They have been training together. Masvidal knows him in and out. Colby knows him in and out. They have been training together in, American All-Star, right?
Long time. They lived together. American Top Team. Trained together. And you know what? I say this too. It's such an interesting fight because it's the striker, it's the wrestler, but it's not just that. It's best friends. And honestly, nobody knows somebody like their best friend. They know all the ins and outs, right? If I got into a fight with my friends, I would know exactly what I would need to do to either beat them or what to do to stay away from getting beat from them. And that's why this is so interesting. And they're professionals, so it's more than just.
That's what makes the bad blood more interesting, man. The bad blood between them, their friendship makes it. Their ex-friendship makes it more interesting.
Oh yeah, that's gold.
Gold.
The promos.
I can't wait for the promos, man. The press conference, man. That would be so lit.
The press. I didn't even think of the press conference. Oh my God. That'll be on Thursday. Well, they haven't announced anything yet. UFC is interesting. Sometimes they do press conferences. Sometimes they don't. Wow.
They gotta do for this one. They gotta do it for this one, man.
I was talking about the video promos. They're coming out on the 26th. I actually lost track of time. Is it tomorrow? Is it 26th tomorrow?
Day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. So within 2 days, we're gonna get those promos coming out, and it's like the countdown to UFC 272. Man, the promo on Instagram on UFC's account was so juicy. It was a picture of both of them, and someone was torching it. It's just can't write this shit.
If they have that embed episode series for them, like UFC 272 embed for Masvidal and Covington, it would be so lit.
Oh, it's gonna be good. I know they're gonna do a press conference now that you say that, man. Like that's gonna be gold. It's gonna be gold. Oh my God, because Colby just unleashes it, never holds back, and Masvidal. I see Masvidal being a little more quiet. This reminds me a lot of the Ben Askren fight when Ben was talking a lot, not really like super smack talk, but he was like antagonizing, like really bad. Like, come on, George, why don't you smile? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And, calling him George.
Dan Askren was like a big thing before coming to UFC. Like before that knockout, people were rooting for Ben Askren, that Ben Askren might take over Masvidal. But that knee came out of nowhere.
Ben Askren was supposed to be the guy to come in. I can't remember what his record was, but he was undefeated.
Yeah.
Just be Robbie Lawler. And yeah, he was supposed to be the guy skyrocketing to the top. I guarantee you he thought it was going to be the easiest night of his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I think Ben and Tyron Woodley are kind of old friends, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Tyrone
and Masvidal,
Gamebred are really close.
Good friends.
So I think Tyrone was like, hey man, like, couple secrets. And he knew when he level changes, he ducks his head to the left. And it was genius. And he let him run his mouth. And it was so genius, the beginning of the fight, where he put his hands behind his back and leaned on the cage. And I think he even said something across the cage, like...
the fastest knockout in the history of UFC, man.
Yeah, you're going to do something? He's like, okay. And then just the lethargic, and then just the blitz. Oh, genius, man.
Then the super necessary shots. The super necessary true shots.
It was super necessary. It was super necessary. The job wasn't done.
Yeah.
You don't clock out early.
The ref wasn't there.
Allowed to go home early.
The ref wasn't there.
Love it.
How can you not love the guys like Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor? They are the greatest out there, man. They're selling MMA out there.
They're polarized.
They made Khabib big. No offense. Conor made Khabib who he is. Among the people.
Sure.
Khabib is the greatest of all time, man. Khabib is undisputed and defeated. But the Conor fight made Khabib who he is.
I think Khabib even said that in an interview recently. I can't remember where I heard it. It might have been the Nelk interview. I can't remember where I heard it, but he was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." He was like, me and Conor. He was like, that was the biggest fight ever. He was like, that fight. And in a sense, what he said was that fight basically kind of made me. I was really, really popular after that fight. It's the biggest one in history. And it's really the only one he needed. Conor he fought a couple times after that, right?
Khabib actually fought RDA. He actually fought RDA before that. And he eventually fought some other guys too. But he didn't get that big fame before Conor.
No, because you gotta beat the name to get the glory. You know what I'm saying? Or do something super spectacular, Jaquan Buckley. Did you see when someone caught that kick?
No.
And he did the spin and knocked the dude out?
Yeah.
So if you could do something impressive, you'll get a lot of recognition.
That was the best knockout of 2021, if I remember. That was the best knockout of 2021.
What's that?
That was the best knockout of 2021.
I didn't see the award, but I wouldn't doubt it. I definitely wouldn't doubt it. But so you either have to do something spectacular or beat a really big name. And yeah, so that's what's going on.
Well,
you know what? Everyone's saying Masvidal is so important, and if he loses this fight, you know what? Honestly, personally, I think he's going to win. I think the grudge match is too much. I think Colby's going to be too emotional. And he talked himself into a wall with that Usman fight. He talked a lot of shit, and he had to back it up. You know what I'm saying? And when he got in there, I feel immediately, if you go back and watch that fight, if you look at the first, second round, both those rounds, it didn't look like he wanted it. It almost just looked like he was like, dang, I talked a lot, here I am. And then it seemed like the third, fourth, and fifth, he actually was like, okay, whatever, let's go. So
Colby is actually quiet right now. Colby is really quiet right now. He hasn't speaking much. He's not speaking much right now.
Just wait for that press conference. The guy can't keep his mouth shut. He just can't stop. He cannot stop it. He cannot help it. He's done a few interviews though. If you go on YouTube, you can probably find some interviews. I'm seeing little ones here and there.
But he's not speaking that much. If you see during the Usman rematch, he was everywhere, man. Usman wasn't that much active. Colby was everywhere. He's not that active in the current fight. In the Masvidal one.
They say Jorge is big brother to him. And, if no one knows what I mean by that is once you're buddies with someone and you know who can whoop who, and apparently word on the street is Colby was always the one kind of getting whooped. Was he the better wrestler? Probably. but all you see is footage of them wrestling and Colby getting some takedowns. That doesn't mean when they were in the gym and it was sparring day that it went well for Colby. There's a lot of untold shit here, and we're going to find out in 10 days live on pay-per-view.
We all want to find out about it. We all want to find out about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be so hyped. It's going to be ridiculous. I got my Trio 5 shirt. Shout out to Trio 5. That's the Super Necessary brand.
Okay.
And so I'll have my Super Necessary shirt on. I'll be totally ready to go.
So,
Their head in the house.
if I start my own merch, I will deliver the first merch to MMA HOT MIC. So he can shout out me whenever he wants to.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Yeah,
Nice.
kudos to you, bro. They say, man, if you want to start something, you just go. You turn that camera on and you go. And that's what you did, man. We just talked like not even that long ago.
Like it was the first time I actually started talking to you. I was following you for a long time, but like you started following me after that, and I just pitched you the idea.
Yeah, dude, I get like the notification thing on Instagram is like not the best, and it's like I'll go on there and see some comments, and I'll literally be driving, and when I stop and I go to message back, it'll just be gone with like likes and shit. So it's actually really hard to keep up with like all the messages and stuff. And then a lot of messages going like requests and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about that stuff until all this happened. I was like, what's a request folder? Like, why is everyone's messages disappearing? Like, they should all just come to my inbox. So very weird. I don't know. But yeah, it sometimes takes me a while to find people.
So man, like, would you like to try for WWE again if you get a chance? If you ever get a chance.
Yeah, God, yeah, it's so weird, man. It's like, if you would ask me this question, like, in August, I would have been like, oh my God, yes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure the paper would be phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, shout out to AJ Styles, I'm sure the money would be really, really good. But I'm in this MMA route right now, and I love it. But I mean, I would, yeah. I would. I mean, if someone slipped in my DMs right now and they're like, "Hey, you got a big contract," yeah. It's a lot of road time. It's a lot of traveling.
You can be a great manager, man. You can be a great manager out there.
I
like
know,
Paul
I
Heyman
wish I had
stuff.
the mouth for it.
Yeah, like Paul Heyman, man. You can do great stuff with the mic.
Oh yeah, Paul Heyman. I love him. My God. I love him. Paul Heyman is awesome. AEW came up because
Masvidal showed up in
AEW.
Masvidal showed up in AEW.
Yeah, a few times, and all of American Top Team and Dan Lambert, the owner of American Top Team, he's been the one on TV being a heel, and I sent the message. I was like, hey, just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. I was like, if you want me to come and announce you guys coming to the ring, because they were doing matches. And I was like, well, how funny would it be if we stopped the announcer? And he was like, hold on, I got this. Presenting American Top Team.
It would actually be great, man. It would have actually been great, if you ask me, man.
I thought it would be a good angle. I've watched wrestling my entire life. I know it would have been a good angle. It's like, not only did American Top Team show up, not only did the MMA fighters show up, and they were trying to take over, the guy brought his own announcer. That's great, man. And I'm already in cahoots with him as his announcer. It would have made sense. It's not like just some random guy announcing for him. It would have been funny, and I think it would have sold, and I don't think I would have been taking anyone's job, and I think it would have been a really good angle. That's old school angle stuff right there.
Like, it would have been a next big thing, man. Invasion sort. Like the MMA guys invading the wrestling guy.
Legit. And they still could do it. It's right there. Dan Lambert's like on there like all the time still. And especially after that tag team match with Junior Dos Santos and everything. But how old are you?
I'm 23.
Me too. I'll be 33 in April.
I'm 23.
We're like the same age.
I'm 23.
Oh, you're 23?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. It looked great. Yeah, so I was in the Hulk Hogan like NWO era. Like that's what I was watching. Like,
I grew up watching Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Walk, Triple H. Like the
Yeah.
DX ages of Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Yes. See, that's old school stuff. That's the stuff. That's the angle that I was kind of looking at, and I was like, look, if you really put it out there, I'm telling you, I think it'd be a good idea, and you should do the invasion. I told Dan Lambert that too. I got to meet Dan Lambert, work with him, and he's such a nice guy, so cool. And I was like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. It's great. You're bringing the old school heel back, and that's what wrestling needs, a good shot in the arm, and he's doing it.
He is, like, shout out to Dan Lambert, he is actually legit helping Scorpion Sky and Ethan Page. Those guys are actually getting screen time. Those guys are actually, people are actually getting to know them. Ethan Page was in TNA, but like people didn't know him that much. Like apart from the wrestling fans, people are getting to know him now. Ethan Page and Scorpion Sky. He's getting them the recognition they deserve.
Another old school angle, my friend, where taking two guys, and it was smart, right? Because those are the workers. Right? In the wrestling business, they call those workers, right? Because those guys can put on the spot and carry the match.
Yeah.
It was smart for them to get a couple workers in the mix so the MMA guys didn't have to put up so much legwork. Because it's, wrestling so much different than fighting. They can go in there and kill them, but that's not the point. We're trying to put on a performance here, a match, and it was very smart for them to get a couple workers and sell those guys. So shout out to that idea as well. And they didn't bring a bunch of big guys either. They brought guys up and elevated them up.
Junior Dos Santos did a backflip. He did a freaking backflip in the first attempt. He did a freaking backflip.
I loved the match with Dan Lambert with Chris Jericho and him selling it. He was in the jumpsuit. He's such a legend.
Chris Jericho is a legend, man. Dude. If you want to sell something, if you want to make it big, bring in Chris Jericho, man.
Yeah, he can't great. Do anything. He's great. What do you think of Cody Rhodes dipping out?
Man, first, like, personal opinion, I think it is some invasion prophecy. Like, Cody will gather up his guys and invade AEW. But, like, the hype is that he's returning to WWE.
Yeah, I think everyone forget why he left.
Yeah.
And he didn't leave. He left because he was unhappy. He was unhappy with where the character development was going. And he left to prove that he could be a main star. What did he do? He left. He created a freaking organization that is now beating them.
And he was the main pillar of that organization. Why would he leave all of a sudden?
Because he proved his point. And it's like, look, I proved my point. My contract's coming up. I'm the star. I told you I was the star. I'm a main event guy now. And it's like, what are you offering? And, WWE had a lot of budget cuts. They cut a lot. Braun Strowman was like, I think $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt was like $500,000 a year. I mean, they're saving $1 million off two guys. And look how many people, if you really look, they cut so many people.
Like really big names,
man. So much money now.
Malachi Black,
it would be,
Buddy Murphy. Everyone is out.
It would be bigger for them to actually give Cody $750,000 a year to come back to WWE. So everyone would be like, wow, what's going on? And then you're right. If they want to do the invasion angle, which I loved, by the way, in 2001, the invasion angle was the best. That was probably one of the best times in wrestling.
We loved it. Yeah, we loved it. We all loved it.
A lot of good stuff going on. Hey, what do you think of? I think this weekend is the Bobby Green. Fight.
Today was a press conference for them, like the press meet. Today was a press meet for them. They were out there.
Oh, did the press conference?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the press conference today. Oh, wow.
I saw that Islam Makhachev's statement. He said, "I won't be talking shit to him. He would be the one talking shit. I will start talking to him once I take him down. Then I will start talking to him."
That's how that whole camp is, bro. Those guys are scary. They get you on the ground, whisper in your ear, "Now I kill you." Dude, those guys are crazy.
Man, Dagestani wrestling is something.
It is. They're gonna. I told my friends, I was like, okay, so Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Started a revolution.
Yeah.
Modern era.
Yeah.
Dagestan wrestling will be the model. Pretty soon.
They are running Khabib's cousin, Umar. I don't know the other name. One is Umar. Like, they are undisputed, man.
Umar.
They are undisputed either.
Yeah.
And the guy in the Bellator is undisputed too, man.
Yeah. Yes. And Khabib was undefeated for a long time. Ben Henderson finally beat one of Khabib's guys. I can't remember who it was, but that snapped Khabib's undefeated streak. Still undefeated in UFC as a coach.
Yeah.
But you can run with that. But yeah, like, you know, I honestly, truly feel the way the sport's evolving. I think like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and there's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu gyms. I think there's going to be Dagestan wrestling gyms, and I think that's going to be a blueprint going into the future.
Well, like they say, having Khabib in your corner is like having a cheat code. And if you see the Dan Hooker fight, he was like literally telling him, take your right leg off his neck, take your right leg off his neck. Take patience. And like, that ended in the first fucking round.
Yeah, he's on a really bad slide right now. And no offense, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The guy's fighting monsters out there.
He's going down. You know, like, I think I heard he's going down to featherweight. Everyone
forgets that. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. Oh no, I can't remember his name. Michael Chandler. Everyone forgets Michael Chandler was the Bellator champion.
Yeah.
And he came into the UFC. It was supposed to be an alternate, and the fight ended up not happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's in there with Hooker. Blam, knockout first round. No one really should be that surprised. That guy was, you know, you think champions, and he went down. Yeah, he smoked him, went back up, and he even had Charles Oliveira.
He had him in the first round, man. Man,
he just, and my brother called that too. He was like, man, he's so good. He gets so excited. And then he gets so excited, and then just something happens. And sure enough.
That is MMA. Like, if you take Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen, Chandler versus Oliveira, things so frequently change, man. Like, you won't accept. I was expecting Chandler to beat Oliveira. I was expecting Hooker to beat Chandler. Because of the reach advantage or something. I was thinking maybe...
Gotcha. I actually expected Chandler to win from wrestling.
Yeah.
So everyone was wrong. Everyone's wrong. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy, and like, how everything works. But
Hooker was maybe coming from the Paul Felder fight, right? Paul Felder.
What's that?
Hooker. Before the Chandler fight, he was coming from maybe the Paul or the Poirier fight. He was coming from that fight.
Yeah.
So he was literally good in those fights. He was legit good in those fights.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a barn burner, too. 5-round war. So, yeah, man. So, but Bobby Green's a weird one, man. And I don't bet against Jason House anymore or James Krause. Like, those guys, like, all of Jason's House, shout out to Jason House, all of his fighters are amazing. And James Krause is such a good coach. And
Bobby Green is the dark horse.
Bobby Green is the dark horse, Jason House's guys. And, man, and he beat Ally Quenta, and he's just on this little streak right now. I don't know, man. Sometimes these fighters do better without a camp, and it's better on short notice. It's not as much mental, like 8 weeks of, oh my God, I'm going to fight, and oh my God. And now it's just like, 1 week. They're more worried about weight cuts and all this crap, and then all of a sudden it's Saturday and you're in the cage with them. But Makhachev's kind of doubting Green right now, and I think that's a mistake.
Yeah. He's the dark horse. He's definitely the dark horse.
Yeah, he's the dark, and you can't, like, Makhachev's so good, but you can't look past Bobby Green, you know, especially when the guy is like knocks people out and stuff like that. Now, maybe if he was a wrestler and it was like...
One thing that is always questionable about Islam is his chin. People always doubt his chin, man. They call him like it's a glass chin. And Bobby has that power. He can exploit it if he doesn't get taken down.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to find out a lot. And I just, unfortunately, without this happening, but it seems like we're going to have a weight cut issue. Bobby had a lot of weight to cut. And unfortunately, I think that's going to affect the fight a little bit, which sucks because that's always going to be the topic, right? Because even if Islam wins, it's like, well, Bobby took it on short notice and he had a lot of weight to cut. You know, I don't think even the short notice is as bad as the weight cut. You know, because when you just cut, like Masvidal, he cut all that weight, and he went 5 rounds, but it was just you could just see the difference of like the effort. But
Usman is really big.
Bobby Green's a scrappy boy.
Usman is really big compared, like if you see comparative to everyone in the welterweight.
Massive.
He's massive. He's literally massive.
He's a light heavyweight. The only reason
Colby can't take him down is because of his weight, man. He's literally big. How are you planning to take a guy that big down?
Yeah, well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But
Okay.
yeah,
A big guy. My big guy got it for you. Khamzat Chiamri
sure.
versus Masvidal. Who do you think?
Who?
Khamzat Chiamri. Who do you think will take it down?
Oh,
Khamzat Chiamri.
gosh. I don't know. Let's see Hamza get past my boy Gilbert Burns first.
It is official.
Let's see him.
Is it official yet? The Gilbert Burns fight?
Yeah, that's official. Yeah, April 9th.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, my birthday is April 6th, and then that fight's on the 9th, so that's like my little birthday gift. Hamza, man, he's got a lot of hype on him.
Man, I want to test him out. I want to see that dude, if he's really worth the hype or not. I want to see that. And Gilbert is the right man for that.
I think the hype is real, but I think the real narrative is this guy really that good? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
untouchable.
When he fought Gerald Mearshart,
yeah.
I actually wanted to bet. Like, I had like $5,000. I was like, I should just put it all $5,000 on him, and didn't even pay that much. I was like, dude, it's gonna be free money, and like, bam, 17 seconds knocks him out. I was like, I knew it. But this one is like Gilbert Burns is just he's no joke. He's got the wrestling credentials. He's got the jiu-jitsu credentials. Even if Hamzat takes him down, now we're talking about guard game and stuff like that. I mean, we're talking about Hamzat hasn't even been hit yet. You know? We don't know. And if you look at Gilbert's last couple fights with Tyrone and Usman, he hurt both of them in the first round really bad. So he goes out there and stings guys quick. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can do that with Hamza and if he can take it.
People from welterweight, like be it Gilbert Burns, be it ex-champion Tyron Woodley, they're rooting for Masvidal out there over Colby. They're rooting for Masvidal.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these guys know. Like, trust the fighters. Fighters know. They know stuff. Like, they understand this much more than we do. It's very black and white to them. And dude, them talking about Colby like that, with everyone understanding who's good at what, they still think Masvidal. And I'm telling you, I just think this one's gonna come down to so much more than just striker wrestler. It's emotion, it's anger, it's frustration, it's body shots.
It would be a war. It would be a war, to be honest. It would be a war. It would be a fucking war. And like,
yeah, it definitely should be a war, for sure. And you know what? And if Colby goes in there and takes him down and lays on him, he's going to get some backlash for that. He's going to get some big backlash for that, you know? People are saying that's kind of the only way for him to win.
If that fight ends in the first round, I would be disappointed. I want them to go for 5 fucking rounds. Like, go at each other, man. You'd be
disappointed if it ended in the first?
Yeah, man. Like, I want them to go at each other, man. Like, do it. Do it, like, do some Chandler and Gaethje shit.
I'm looking for the 4-second knockout with Masvidal winning. Let's beat the ass.
That would be sick. And that would
be so cool.
Career changing for Colby. I'm telling you. Colby's career, I don't know where would we go from there.
I would love it, man.
And Masvidal is getting a title shot. Masvidal is getting a title shot after that. If he wins it.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that right now. I have no idea. You know, the welterweight division's so crazy, bro. Who knows who's really getting the title shot? I mean, Leon, right? Leon, he's got to be there.
Like, Leon is next. I'm talking about after, like, Colby, like, he's next in line after Leon anyways.
Right, but you know what? Stuff changes, then people get hurt, right? Even if, like, Masvidal were to win, or maybe something's wrong, or maybe he broke his hand on his face, you never know. Like, anything could happen. So that's why Dana's always like, I don't like to make fights, like, straight away. Who knows? What if Gilbert Burns knocks out Hamzat Chimaev?
Like, biggest upset of the year, man. Biggest upset of the year.
It'd be crazy. I don't even know if it would be an upset, but it would be the biggest shock. People would be absolutely shocked. And Gilbert really wants that title shot again. And he even called a shot. He was like, let Leon fight. And then he's like, I would really want to fight for the belt next. And then, and then it probably, maybe Masvidal, maybe one more. But you never know. How about Masvidal, Gilbert Burns? I mean, dang, that'd be a war too. I mean, like, you just don't know.
A thing about Gilbert Burns, he can wrestle. He can take you down. But he would still choose to like go at you with a fist, man. Like he would go for a fist war with you. The same thing happened in those one fight.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy, man. You gotta love this game, right? You gotta love the sport of MMA.
Like the game is like, I want to talk about a rivalry that is like the biggest in the history of combat sport. Hasbulla versus Abdurozak.
What do I think the biggest rivalry was?
No, like I want to talk about the biggest rivalry in the history of combat sport. Hasbulla versus Abdurozak.
Oh my god, when can we get it, please? What do we have to do? What do we have to do?
Like, yeah, I want to see that fight, man. I want to see that
I
fight.
heard the whole world does. Hey, have you seen the other guy?
The Abdurozak?
Who's the other one? I don't know his name.
Abdurozak.
The third one though, right? Not Hasbulla and the other guy.
No, I don't know the third one.
That hits really hard.
I don't know about the third one.
Yeah.
I know about the first two one, man. Like the first two one, like Hasbulla
I gotta show you this third guy that came out of nowhere. He hits really hard.
Yeah, he was in a confrontation with maybe Abdurozak, like a meeting or something.
Yes. I've seen that guy hit pads.
Yeah.
And he hits so hard. I was like, oh man, I don't think Hasbulla wants that, bro. Hasbulla's a wrestler. He's actually a really good wrestler.
Man, like Dana actually offered them. Dana actually offered them. Like, let's make this fight into the UFC, man. He texted his manager.
The problem is the commission.
Yeah.
So they need to go somewhere where that's going to let that slide, which is California. No, I'm just kidding. That's a California Athletic Commission joke. I heard Russia didn't want that to happen. So that's what I heard. I don't know how Abu Dhabi feels about that. Maybe Abu Dhabi would let that slide. I really don't know.
Money.
But
no
man,
offense.
The world needs to see it. And I think it's always going to be there. Well, it'll be there for at least another year.
It is a big money fight, man. It is a big money fight. People want to see it.
That's a huge money fight. Well, that's when I seen Hasbulla, it was originally that press conference. And where he like tried to kick him and stuff. And and I was so sold because the fight was supposed to happen like the next day or like 2 or 3 days after that. And I couldn't find it. And I finally found the guy that was managing him. And I'm like, oh my God, like, please, like, when is this fight happening? Because it was supposed to be on YouTube. And it never happened. And I was like, maybe that was a publicity stunt, And
like
that's when everyone
like
found
it was something
out
they don't want, they want them to fight. The government is not allowing them. Federations are not allowing it to happen.
Yeah, and that's when everyone found out that they were actually like 19. And too. Because at the time, no one knew. Like in America, like no one knew. They were like, "Oh my God, these two kids ready to beat the crap out of each other." Yeah, we're sick over here. We're like, "Yeah, that'd be great." Like, you know what I'm saying?
And they're making money, man. They're making huge money.
That brings a whole new level to that, and it's just great. And you know what? God bless both of them. They're both killer. The other guy's such a good singer. You hear him sing?
Abdurozak, man. He's actually a singer.
Great.
He's actually a singer.
Yeah. Oh, so he already was a singer.
Yeah, he's actually a singer.
Oh, that makes so much sense. But the whole world wants to see that happen.
He just opened his restaurant.
Can we get a wrestling match? Can we get like boxing gloves, headgear? Can we get anything? Like anything? Can we get a 2 out of 3 falls? First rounds of wrestling.
They did arm wrestling,
boxing.
man. They did arm wrestling. They did push-up challenge. We want more.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, like during the press conference only. They did that.
I didn't see that.
No, they did that. Like
who won?
I think Hasbulla lost in the push-up challenge.
Who won the arm wrestling?
Yeah, arm wrestling too. I think it was the same guy who won arm wrestling too. It was the same guy, maybe.
Damn. Hasbulla by unanimous decision or by rear naked choke.
48-50, man. 48-50.
He's really good wrestler. He actually is like legitimately good at wrestling. It's amazing. It's great.
You're talking about wrestling? He's a really sick driver.
He deserves everything.
He's a really sick driver. Have you seen him drive that motorbike with 4 wheels? Like he just
I've seen him doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
He just tripped that shit
over.
over.
Is awesome.
And
you seen him in the You seen him in the car, like speeding like crazy, and he's standing up in the seat, and he's like holding on. They're wild now.
They are,
man. He's living his best life.
like if they ever get into UFC for that fight, man, I'm like, I'm all money for it, man. Like you have my money for it.
I think. Well, hold on. If anyone can pull it off, it's Dana White. So
Yeah.
Uncle Dana's trying to. I know he's trying to hook it up. I know he's working.
He texted his manager on Telegram.
I know he's working on that. It's just sanctions and stuff like that. But there's got to be somewhere where someone to let that happen.
It gotta be a main event, man. Hasbulla versus Abdul, it gotta be a main event. We don't want it to be on the undercard. It has to be a main event.
No, that's main event. That's main event. That's pay-per-view.
Yeah, they are the money, man. They are bigger money than like half the UFC roster right now.
Bro, it'd be such a good fight.
They want to fight everyone, man. They want to fight Henry Cejudo.
The world needs to see it.
They want to fight Henry Cejudo. They want to fight Logan Paul. They want to fight Conor McGregor. They want to fight everybody.
I love the whole thing. Dude, the community's great, isn't it? Like, the whole MMA thing is just unbelievable.
Man, like the community actually helped them to hype, man. The community actually built them. And who would have expected that this video could have been just like literally like a hype video? But it is still alive, man. It is still alive. Hasbulla and Abdul Rozik are still alive, man. They're living off the hype.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's really like, it's a very rare thing. It's rare. It's just not just two Joe Schmoes. You know, it's a rare condition that they both have, and it's like, and it's actually bringing attention to it as well in the world, which is nice. And it's very good that
it is inspiring, to be honest, man. It is inspiring.
A lot of good. What's that?
It is inspiring, man, to people that even after this much condition, you can do whatever you want to do.
Good, and good for them, dude. They have so much stuff going for them right now. Like, Hasbulla's buying like sick cars and stuff. Like, he's killing it. He's cooking with famous chefs and stuff. It's great, man. It's really good for them.
Abdul Rozik just opened his own restaurant.
We need the match.
Abdul Rozik opened his own restaurant today. Burgers. He called them burgers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like with a Gypsy King suit on, man. With a Gypsy King suit on.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want one. I want two.
We want the stock, man. We want the stock. We want to buy some, like, we want to buy a lot of burgers from you.
I'll tell you what, if Hasbulla came to this country and opened a burger stand or a burger restaurant, Hasbullergers or something like that, I'm telling you right now, it would be, he would be rich. And he didn't even have to run it. He just the name, just let it take off. Just let it take off, man.
Well, like, people buy things, man. It just have to be interesting. People would buy it.
Sure.
Man, it has to be normal burgers, man. It doesn't even have to be special. It would be normal burgers, but the name would sell it.
Yeah.
The name would sell it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, hopefully they bring the inspiration from that country into the burger. That's because, like, culture for food is very big in America. So, like, different types of foods is very big here. So, yeah, if there was some sort of Hasbulla burger and something that maybe he eats or maybe, like, that's his favorite, yeah, that's it. That's all we want. It's like, perfect. It's Hasbulla's favorite burger.
Burgers. They call it burgers.
I'm in.
Burgers. I'm into, man.
I'm in, too.
Well, like, before, like, we sign off this thing, I have a request from Matt Parrino. A big request. Like,
okay.
Can you call out my name, man? I want to feel the hype.
I got you. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Nikhil with the Freak Punk Podcast.
Thank you, man. I'm really hyped for it. Like, thank you so much for that.
I hope to do this in person one day, bro.
Yeah, man. Like,
I hope either I come to India or you come to America or something like that. I love traveling.
Finger crossed, man.
Really weird.
Finger crossed. Like, hopefully one day, man.
It's a really weird time right now, but yeah, it'd be sick to come to India, man. Like, it's great. I know WWE's been there before. You know, they've had events out there and stuff.
Yeah, man. Like, India is growing into MMA community too. Like, Indian fans are getting into MMA, like, thanks to Khabib and Conor. Not everyone knows it. Like, I knew it. I've been watching MMA since, like, Anderson Silva stuff. Anderson Silva, GSP Chael on it. I'm a fan. I'm a legit fan.
He's a legend.
Yeah, man. Like they are the legend,
Anderson
man.
Silva's legend.
Legend, man.
So it's growing in popularity.
Yeah,
there.
it has started to growing. Thanks to Conor and Khabib, man. Thanks to Conor and Khabib. Like,
is there like a lot of Conor McGregor fans out there?
Yeah, man.
Or
Like,
is it mostly Khabib or?
Like mixture, man. They both like Khabib won the fight, but like
Interesting.
man. Like they thanks to like Conor and Khabib was so big, like it introduced it to so many platforms, man. They were so big, and the hype, like the bus incident, the trolley incident, like it just increased the hype a lot, man.
Made everything so crazy, dude. That made Khabib's week hell.
Yeah.
because the opponents kept dropping out, and then they were supposed to do Michael Chiesa, and he threw the dolly, and the window broke and cut Chiesa.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't allowed to fight, and then they had it was like 6 different opponents or something like that. Absolutely.
It was fucking crazy, man. Who would have thought like a literal brawl after a post fight, man?
I mean, dude. Posses stick together, man, and Conor and them Irish dudes are crazy. And after Khabib slapped Artem, it was on. He loaded a whole jet up with his people, stormed Madison Square Garden.
Man,
and
Dylan Dennis has something to do with it too, man. Dylan Dennis was below the cage. He called out Khabib, "Come out, man! Like, let's jump out." He jumped literally, man. He jumped.
I think it's another reason. I kind of forget about all that too. Like that's another reason why that fight was so big. The Dolly incident. The fight and then the brawl, and it's just it's fucking crazy.
That was so WWE. That was so WWE.
Yeah, and I remember Dana like hating that, and he was like, "I cannot give you this belt." He's like, "If I give you this belt, he's like, everyone's gonna start throwing stuff in here. It's like gonna get dangerous. You don't know, like you're gonna start throwing beer cans, like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the thing was at the time in Las Vegas. They're very wary to give you like literal like they're wary to give you cans of liquid.
Okay.
So basically, sometimes they try to have it pour it in like a plastic cup or something like that, so that if you throw it, it loses the liquid. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, and it won't go that far.
It
won't go that far. The glasses.
Yeah, so I don't know if Madison Square Garden didn't do that because it's not Las Vegas. So maybe he knew like there was a lot of beer cans in the crowd, especially after the monster incident when Conor was throwing the monsters at Nate. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Conor. Yeah. Reference? Yeah. Like that was sick. That was sick.
What's that?
That was sick, man. Like Conor throwing those cans at Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But I think someone got hurt. I think like a girl got hurt or something. I can't quite remember. It's kind of foggy. It was a while ago. But ever since that incident, it's like, don't throw stuff. Like, it's a very big deal. Like, super big deal.
Nate Diaz was walking off like, yeah, I don't care. He was walking up there like, I don't care.
Them Diaz brothers, they're G's.
Man, I love Diaz brothers, man. I love Diaz brothers. I love Conor McGregor too, man.
West Coast gangsters.
Yeah. Same goes with Masvidal. I love Jorge Masvidal. I love Diaz brothers. I love Conor McGregor. Because they made the sport, man. These guys actually made the sport.
For sure.
Anderson Silva, Chaelson, these guys were great, man. Like, these are the greatest of all time. GSP was greatest of all time. But, like, Masvidal, guys like Conor McGregor, they drew audience, man. They were the one who actually drew audience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously. They're big draws. Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell, man, even Tito, Randy Couture. I mean, those guys are pioneers. Mark Coleman, first, heavyweight champ ever, like legit heavyweight champ. Dan Severn, man, Ken Shamrock, Frank Shamrock. I mean, old school. Right. Like, those guys were like pioneers of the sport and leads into all this modern stuff now with all these big draws, and now like we have like juggernaut superstars, you know what I'm saying? And if anything, if we can leave on something, I know with the health, we were talking about the health commission and stuff, or like sort of looking for like health benefits for fighters after they get out and stuff. I wish there was something for money. Maybe instead of like health or something, or maybe even both. Yeah. But it'd be nice, like Mark Coleman and stuff like that. Like, those guys really don't deserve to like be broke at all with so much money.
Like something like pensions. Something like pensions to them. Like Post-retirement pension.
Absolutely. There should be an X percentage. I'll start that one. Watch that one blow up on the internet now, and I'll be the dickhead. But yeah, it would be great. It would be great.
No, it would be great, man. They deserve
a little bit of kickback, so that they're not in trouble. Because I've seen Ken Shamrock in wrestling, like autograph sessions and stuff like. I mean, those guys make their money off meet and greets now. And Ken Shamrock, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's doing really good. I think he has his own Shamrock Fighting Championship or Shamrock Federation and stuff like that. So he's doing good. But Mark Coleman is coaching. He just coached somebody last weekend. I can't remember who the guy was. But yeah, he was coaching now and stuff. And it would just be nice to know that those guys are receiving a little kickback, a little some, not a lot.
They deserve it. Deserve
like
it.
Social Security almost here in America.
Yeah.
Where they give you just a little bit of money just to help you live and stuff.
Yeah, fighters deserve that, man. They leave all of their body and all of their mentality out there in the octagon and the ring. They do that
100%. These guys deserve a lot of praise and stuff, especially as they were pioneers in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys deserve it the most. It wouldn't be the same without them. Like Hoist Gracie. I mean, geez, we owe the Gracie family a lot, but if it wasn't for Hoist, making and winning those tournaments, if Hoist would have lost the first night, jiu-jitsu would have been nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Until maybe the next tournament where they probably would have put someone else in there. but it wouldn't have been Hoist. We would, Hoist Gracie wouldn't have been a thing. But he was a legend. He went on to Pride and did a lot of fights in Pride. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of crazy stuff.
All right. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Thank you, Matt.
I love it. Shout out to India.
Shout out to my brother, Matt Parrino, MMA HOT MIC. Malik. This is the first episode that we are recording here. This is the very first episode, and we have the best guest for the very first episode.
I've been the best guest so far.
Yeah, so far.
Default.
And probably he will be the best guest ever, man. This will be my favorite episode ever. This is my favorite episode ever. And I can't wait to bring it to you guys. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like it, and share it. Thank you for joining in.
Subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment in the section, follow us on Instagram. And shout out to you, my brother.
And like they say, do whatever MMA HOT MIC says, man. He's always right.
Later, guys. Take care.
Take care, bye, guys.